Hey y'all. That was way too southern. Hey y'all. My voice just went down a couple octaves, but I still sounded so country. But that's fine. Welcome back to another urban legend video. Today, the urban legends are from Colorado. Silverado.
Get out.
This is my house! This was recommended by the Unholy Gossip Girls. But before we get into the video, this is another segment of bad decisions. What bad decision have you made recently?
Letting my son get a Minecraft toy.
I knew you were gonna say
where
that.
the little sword was real metal. It wasn't sharp, it was just heavy. And he stuck it in the air conditioner and it broke.
Oh, okay, here's a bad decision that I have, because this has happened not once but twice. I'm moving out of this house, swear to God. Just kidding.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. So this isn't really a bad decision, but it caused me a great amount of pain. My bed is right over there, and I like have it all set up like my bed is in the corner. You will never take my bed out of the corner. It will never look like a normal human bed. I like my corner. So in the corner I have like a bunch of pillows propped up, and then my TV is like over on this wall, so I can just sit there and watch TV and eat whatever. So the other day I am just chillaxing, watching a YouTube video, hanging out, and I'm eating chips and salsa. I made homemade salsa, and so I like got the chip. I got like the chips that you could scoop it, like they were scoops, and it would hold the salsa. This is irrelevant to the story, but on the back of my neck I felt something tickling me, and I was like, oh, my hair's tickling me, you know where I'm going now. And I like go to scratch the back of my neck, and I'm like, damn, my neck really itches. And I look down and there's a spider crawling down my arm, and I scream at the top of my lungs, and without even thinking I take my other hand and I smack my wrist so hard that it left a bruise. And I instantly sent a video to Carly and my friend, and I am screaming, and my other friend sends a video back and he's just laughing at me because I was like, I about sent myself into cardiac arrest because it was a spider. I hate nothing more in this world than spiders and snakes. So I'm getting progressively louder as I'm telling the story because I'm infuriated. Because
infuriated?
Because earlier I'm doing the same thing, but I'm on my bed eating a casserole. And then I look down because my arm tickles, and in the same exact spot there's another spider. And I hit myself again and I scream. And this time my dad's home, and my dad's room is right there. And so I run out of my room and I'm like, because I'm petrified, I'm scared, and I'm disgusted. And I run to the sink and I am aggressively scrubbing my arm, and I'm like, and my dad is like, what is going on? And I'm like, and then I was like, there was a spider. It was crawling down my arm. But I am like freaking out. And my dad was like, it's just a spider. And I was like, it was like as big as my head. Michael.
Michael!
But that was my dilemma. That leads in to, we got our first email of a subscriber telling us about a bad decision that he had. So I'm going to read it, and if you have made any bad decisions or had any traumatic experiences happen to you, feel free to email us at mysteriesofthepastandpresent@gmail.com, and we will read it, and we will feel for you.
Mail time, mail time.
Mail! It was the end of the school year in grade 8, and the last hurrah before graduation and high school life began. To celebrate our final month together, our teacher took us to a summer camp for 3 days. I made a lot of bad decisions there. Our cabin had a hole in the window screen, so it was infested with mosquitoes. I sprayed so much off bug repellent inside the cabin that we probably got high as a kite on that stuff. Then I almost killed my friend Brock because I decided to pull a prank and impersonate Freddy Krueger at 3 in the morning. But I got so wrapped up in the prank that I forgot his asthma attacks. We were told later that morning that Brock screamed so loud he could be heard on the other end of the property, which was definitely a few acres in diameter. Not bad for a guy with asthma, LOL. But my worst decision, I think, was agreeing to try canoeing. We risked life, limbs, and our dignity getting in the canoe without it tipping. Without it tipping over. Then we fumbled around with the oars for a while, having no clue how to use them. But pretty soon we had a rhythm going, and the canoe was going faster and faster. So we got excited and started paddling faster. Pretty soon, HMS Puberty was at full speed, and life was good. Or so we thought. It all changed in a matter of seconds. 1 second we were happily paddling away on open water. The next second, a canoe full of all the girls in the class suddenly appeared out of nowhere and crossed in front of us. Think of it as the boat equivalent of running a stop sign. Before we could even cry out, "How do you stop this thing?" HMS Puberty collided with the HMS Tampons. The crash and the girls screaming was so loud it sounded like a bomb went off, and we all got thrown around like crash test dummies. How the hell none of us got thrown into the water or punctured the canoes and sank, I have no clue. All I do know is that the teachers, camp staff, and obviously the girls were not happy with us, and we weren't getting any hot dates with them anytime soon. That incident had such an effect on me, I haven't touched a canoe since, LOL. He sent one more, but because of the canoe.
Because of the canoe.
Carly,
you want to hear me get passionate about something?
Get passionate!
So, what was our senior year of high school?
Sure
Our senior
was.
year, we went on a trip. And we went like on a hike, and we went canoeing, while I decided, hey, me and my best friend over here should be canoe buddies. And I've been canoeing before.
I have not.
So I'm like, don't flail around, like just chill, and I'll like paddle and just chill out. Like, don't do anything. Just sit there very still. Well then, we get like this, who was with? Anyway, there's two boys in a canoe. I don't remember who they were. But they like paddle up, and then they like splash Abby with one of the paddles, and water gets on her, so she panics and just like starts flailing around, and then more water starts splashing up, so she panics more until she flips the canoe over, and we're both in the water. And I was like, Abby! And she's like, well, I got water on me. And I was like, and now we're in the water. And I'm still mad about it.
That was 7 years ago.
Still mad about it. Every time we see a canoe, and every year the picture comes up on my Facebook, and I'm like, I'm still mad about it.
And the teacher still laughs at it. She thinks it is hilarious. So then there's one more that he sent because I already know it, and I just wanted to say it to y'all and Carly because I asked for permission to share it, and he said yes. So Carly, you're gonna think this is absolutely hilarious. One year for Halloween, my class were given pumpkins to draw faces on. However, we weren't allowed to carve them, partly because the janitors would have a fit cleaning up the mess, the pumpkins would fall apart on the bus, but mainly, would you trust a bunch of autistic kids with knives? Abby, you know all about that, right? So anyways, we are given our pumpkins and everyone starts drawing. Here's where I made my bad decision. Of all the ideas for faces in the whole world I could have chosen, I decided to do an Adolf Hitler pumpkin. And not only did I do an Adolf Hitler pumpkin, but then I proceeded to walk around the hallway yelling, "Hail Hitler!" afterwards, and not a single teacher said anything or batted an eyelash. How I didn't get in trouble, I have no clue. The only reason I can think of is that it was just before the end of the day, and perhaps some teachers had a conference and said, okay, listen, it's the end of the day, these pumpkins are all going home anyways, so we'll let this one slide. That's the only reason I got away with that, I think. I should also note that I was super into history at this point, but I didn't have a full understanding of just how horrible a person Hitler was. The joys of being young and stupid, I suppose. Happy reading and happy laughing. P.S. I take no responsibility for any asthma attacks caused by this video. That's a viewer discretion is advised sort of thing, LOL. Well, you did cause Carly to get very passionate about the canoe.
This is Maybe It's Spiritual, a podcast about the supernatural, the paranormal, and the unexplained. From ghosts to aliens, demons, and beyond, we are a place where you can share your story without being told you're crazy. Join us as we descend into the uncharted territory of the multidimensional world around us and discuss the effects it has on our daily lives. Listen to stories of individuals who have experienced things they cannot explain. Whether they've tucked it away in their minds or turned it into an interesting party story, we dive deep into these experiences and ask the questions too seldom asked. What do you think it was? What does it mean? And what would you say to someone who's experienced something similar? We ask these questions to uncover the truth, and most importantly, to let people know that they are not alone. Most of us here have seen something at least a little weird. On our show, we've talked about haunted houses, deities from ancient folklore, skinwalkers, and even tiny mystical beings that have invaded your home. No matter what corner of the paranormal you've experienced, on Maybe It's Spiritual, we want to hear your side of the story. And remember, when the going gets weird, the weird start a podcast.
First urban legend is really a couple legends from Cripple Creek, Colorado. A former gold mining town near the base of Pikes Peak was a place where miners flocked to the area as a gold rush began at the end of the 19th century. The only thing that remains is a ghost town filled with haunted history. One of the many haunted buildings in Cripple Creek is the Colorado Grande Casino. This 3-story brick building housed many different businesses, including a drugstore, medical offices, a Masonic Lodge ballroom, and mortuary. Today you can hear the sound of slot machines being used when no one else is around. Many report seeing the figure of a woman whom they have named Maggie. Some say they can hear her high heels clicking in the halls. She usually appears on the top 2 floors of the building, wearing turn-of-the-century clothing, a white shirtwaist, a long cotton skirt, and high-heeled boots. She's about 25, with her hair on top of her head, and she leaves behind the scent of rose perfume. In the casino, security guards say they have seen her on the security cameras, but when they go to check the footage, the tapes are mysteriously gone. They say she sits at the slot machines playing with a male friend after hours. Another haunted place in Cripple Creek is the Hotel St. Nicholas. The hotel sits on top of a hill overlooking Cripple Creek. It was originally built to be a hospital, opened by the Sisters of Mercy in 1898. The building was also used as lodging for the sisters and a school for students early after opening. Another hospital opened in the area, leaving the sisters to compete. In the mid-1970s, the hospital closed its doors. For 2 decades, the building sat empty. It is now listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The hotel has 15 guest rooms, all having the feeling of being back in time. Guests claim to have run-ins with some spirits inside the hotel. The hotel is said to be haunted by a nun, children, and the former patients of the mental ward. The most well-known spirit is called Stinky. He hides at the back of the staircase, making himself known by emitting a sewage-like smell. Some see an apparition of an old miner with no upper body. There is the ghost of a child named Petey, who has been seen all throughout the hotel. He is responsible for things going missing, stealing cigarettes, and moving things in the tavern. With the town having a deep-rooted history, it's no surprise all of the buildings are haunted. No matter what building you're in, you may find a ghost or two. That's crazy that, like, so many buildings in that little town can be haunted, because basically that place there was a massive gold rush, there were 2 fires, a bunch of people died, which is why they say that you can see a miner with no upper body. Like, that'd be terrifying to see. Like, I think one of the creepiest things I could ever see, like, to see as a ghost would be a nun, because of all the movies I've seen with nuns, like The Conjuring and stuff. Like, that nun, that terrified me. Like, I even got to the point where I had a fever dream or something was going on, and like right back here, like, I'll show you, right over here is literally just my vanity and a chair and closet. In that corner, I woke up and I swear to God I saw a nun standing there, and I started crying and went back to bed. Like, I know I probably didn't see a nun. I was probably just like hallucinating. I'm not schizophrenic or anything, but like I was dreaming it in my dream, and then I woke up and I feel like I was still probably dreaming, but you know, it freaked me out.
Panic.
Yeah, panic.
I feel like it's so weird that like you can like smell a ghost. Like they can leave behind a smell. And there was that one named Stinky.
Yeah.
And then the other one, you could smell rose perfume. I hate rose perfume. I hate the smell.
My sister loved this perfume called Sunflower, and it was like a suit, like if you could envision what the color yellow smells like, that's what it was. And sometimes in my house, I'll just smell that and I'll be like, what do you want?
Hello?
I've always found that fascinating that they could leave behind like a scent, like a legit scent that we can smell. Like, how? Like, you are nothing. How are you making something out of nothing? Houdini.
I don't think that's what that means. I don't think Houdini made things out of nothing. Okay, the next urban legend is Phantom Canyon Road. The Phantom Canyon Road is a detour off the Gold Belt Tour byway connecting Cripple Creek and Florence. The road was originally the railroad for the route. Driving along the road, you can see the ghost towns Wilbur, Adelaide, and Glenbrook. As if seeing the ghost towns isn't spooky enough, the legend of the road is that there was a man who was executed at the Colorado State Penitentiary in the 1890s. His ghost is seen walking along the tracks in a prison uniform, which is why the road is called Phantom Canyon Road. That would be creepy.
That would be cool to go see. Like, yeah, go something and try to find the guy.
I'll stay in the car. Was that your stomach?
I don't know. Like, I think that would be cool to at least go and like drive down that road and see the ghost towns, at least like take some spooky pictures.
I went to a ghost town, I think it was in South Dakota. That's my whole story.
I thought you were gonna like say that something interesting happened. You're like, I went to a ghost town in South Dakota.
Yeah, that's all I had.
The next urban legend is the Central City Masonic Cemetery. I had to include a cemetery in this one. Central City was a mining town founded in 1859. It was known as the richest square mile on Earth. In the late 1800s, it went downhill. It is home to about 680 people now. Located in Central City is one of the most haunted cemeteries in Colorado. The Central City Masonic Cemetery resides right above the town. It is said that every April 5th and November 1st, a woman in a black Victorian-style dress visits the grave of John E. Cameron and leaves flowers in the flower pot in front of his tombstone. No one knows who John is or why the woman comes to leave him flowers. A group of investigators decided to visit the cemetery on November 1st to see if they could see this woman. At dusk, she appeared. Two investigators tried to grab her, but she drifted away and disappeared into a hillside.
They tried to grab her?
Why the hell are you trying to grab a ghost?
This is a weird thing to do.
Yeah, like I don't know if that part's true or not, because like how are you just gonna bombard a ghost and try to grab her?
Gotcha. Like what? This is not Scooby-Doo.
I don't know. Like I do believe that there's a woman that would come and do that for some unknown reason. I don't know, but I don't know if they went and grabbed her. Yeah, like I don't know.
You're coming with me.
Let me go disappear into this hillside. Like I don't know.
They're after me. Like what?
Run away!
The last one is Chessman Park. Chessman Park wasn't always a park. The park started out as Denver's first graveyard. When it was decided the cemetery would become a park, some families had their deceased moved to other cemeteries. Many, though, were left unclaimed. E.P. McGovern was given the job of moving the remaining bodies. He decided to hack up the bodies so that they would fit into children's coffins, which gave him more money. In the 1960s, because of his lust for money, skeletons started popping up. Remains were also found in 2010 when workers were digging a channel for the garden's irrigation system. They found 4 skeletons, and some claimed to see apparitions roaming the park at night. I mean, E.P. McGovern was not a nice man.
Yeah, so basically what I guess what he was trying to do, he was told, like, hey, these families didn't come and claim, like, their past loved ones, so you're going to dig them up and stuff, and then for every coffin he had, I guess he would get paid for it, so he would get paid like per coffin. So what he would do is, like, since the children's coffins are smaller, he would just hack off some body parts and put them into some children's coffins, and then he would have more coffins, so he would get more money, and I guess he forgot some.
Did you hear my hip pop?
I did. But that kind of sounds like in Chicago. Remember when we did the Chicago urban legends, that the Lincoln Park, they were excavating for like a shed or something, and they found human remains. They found like 4 skeletons or something. Like, that sounds like what this is too. Spahooky.
Spahooky.
Just imagine if I was digging in my sandbox and I found a femur.
You have a sandbox?
I used to. Just imagine me like pulling a femur out of the ground. Hey, what's this? On that note, let us know in the comments what you want to see us do next, and like and comment and subscribe. We have done Alabama, Missouri, and Chicago. Chicago is not a state, but someone from outside of the US thought that Chicago was a state and asked us to do Chicago, so it's Illinois.
Close enough.
We haven't done Illinois, so you have any final thoughts, Jerry?
E.P. McGovern.
Bye.